Hello, and welcome to another episode of Yotes Podcast, where we shine a spotlight on the exceptional students at Orange Vista High School. Today's guest is nothing short of a trailblazer, a standout athlete from the class of 2026 who has redefined what it means to be a champion, both on and off the mat. Zahra Stewart is the 125-pound state champion, holding a 33-1 record this year. Not only is she a state champion, she's a CIF champion, Masters champion, and she's holding it down in the classroom. With a GPA of 3.8, she is a champion on and off the mat. Zahra, thank you for dealing with the technical difficulties and welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good, good, good. Hey, so again, we tried to do this a little while ago and we had some issues. And so I'm glad we got a chance to finally meet up. Can you take us back to the beginning? I know you've been wrestling for several years. You couldn't have got to the spot you're at without it. Where did wrestling start for you?
It started like how I joined wrestling is because I was just watching my brother and I just tried to practice with him and I really ended up just enjoying it and I kept with it.
Okay, how much older is your brother than you are?
My brother is actually younger than me.
Oh, so you were wrestling with your younger brother and then he took it to another level. So when did that start? I know you're a junior going into your senior year, so I know you've been wrestling at least a few years. What age were you when you started?
I think I don't really know my exact age. I know I started like 5th grade though.
Okay, cool. Excellent, excellent. Now, we finished this year with a 33-1 record. Can you tell us a little bit about your training routine you had going into the season?
I usually would go to the gym in the mornings and then like I'd go to practice and then after that practice I'd go to another club practice after that
Okay, so
4
you're
times a
talking
week.
about training 2 to 3 times every day. Now, on the weekend, was that kind of downtime when you didn't compete, or are you still working on
Um,
the weekend?
On Fridays, I didn't have any practices, and then Saturday and Sunday was just if I was wrestling at like a tournament or not.
Okay, great, great, great. So tell me, what has been your biggest challenge so far that you've had to overcome in your wrestling journey?
Right now, it's probably working on freestyle and like getting ready to go into like the college level, practicing that.
And explain that a little bit to me. I know I talked to Coach a little bit about the different styles. How many different styles have you wrestled, and how many different styles are there?
There's 3 different styles. I've practiced all the styles, but I've only wrestled freestyle and folk style.
And freestyle is kind of what we do in CIF, correct?
Freestyle is college, folk style is like all the high school level.
Oh, excellent. And what's one of the major difference in freestyle?
You don't really do like a top bottom. You just like there's like just 10 seconds. You pretty much just lay there.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So, of course, we want to talk about your past. We want to talk about your future. But one of the most exciting moments this year happened in the state tournament. Can you explain first, before we talk about the ending of the match, just going into state finals? You had to win a bunch of matches to get into the final match for the title. What was your mindset going into that final match?
Before my finals match, I honestly I already knew I was gonna win because my semifinals match, it was really hard. That was my hardest match I've had all year. Like when I wrestled her before, that match wasn't the hardest time I've wrestled her, but I knew once that I beat her and got past that girl that my finals would be easy and I'd be able to win.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like I said, that was one of my highlights early on at OV. I got a chance to go up there to Bakerfield and see that. And I just remember the look on your face and coach face. After you won that semifinal match, they were like, we didn't want to take it for granted because you never know. Everybody there was good, but you can tell that the load of the world was off your shoulders and you can really just kind of enjoy the moment. So that was really, really cool to witness. Tell us a little bit about the support you've received, either from the school or your coaches or the community. Just what is some of the support that you've received so far?
When I was at nationals, they had a rally and they like shouted me out for winning state and stuff, even though I wasn't even there. Like they sent me the video and I thought it was really cool.
That's cool. Yeah, I remember. I think we were having our normal spring pep rally, and usually our pep rallies are threefold. But you guys were having such a great postseason, first with CIF and Masters and state, and even national. So even though we were as a school moving into the spring, we were still excited to see your journey. And so I remember that was just kind of showing the spirit at OV that even though you weren't on campus, you were still with us. So that was really really cool. Talk about the support that you've received, besides just your classmates in your school. What about from your family? What kind of support have they been?
My family, I don't think they've really ever missed a tournament. They're always there. They're always helping me make sure like I cut my weight and I am like always healthy. They make sure I get to my practices and do everything I need to do to get better.
Excellent, excellent. Now we talked about your weight. Do we know what weight we're going to wrestle at next year? Are you staying at 125, or do you have dreams of going up, going down? What's the plan going into next year?
I'm not 100% sure yet, but I'll either stay at 125 or go 130s. But
Okay. So you kind of stay in that same range. Okay, very, very cool. Tell me this. Do you think that wrestling so far has taught you lessons that carry out into other aspects of your life, whether it's academic or personal goals? What kind of lessons have you learned from wrestling?
well, yeah, I definitely learned like you have to work hard to get what you want. So like even if you're like don't wrestle off, it's like if you want a really good job or something, you still have to like work and study really hard to get where you want to be.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. And so I know this is a big year for you, where as we record, we're kind of in the summer between junior and senior year. I guess since we've had graduation, you're officially a senior. So congratulations on making it to senior year. I understand that you've already received several offers. I think Coach said close to around 40 offers. Congratulations on that. What factors are you looking into as you narrow down your college choices?
Definitely like the team setting. I know I don't want to be like the best on teams because I want partners so I can improve, but I also want to make sure like I get like most of it paid for. And definitely I want to go out of state for sure too.
Very cool, very cool. I know a lot of times, especially I know just from all sports, that most colleges love California girls, California guys when it comes to athletes, because the competition is so powerful. The flip side is so many of our athletes want to stay. So the fact that you're open to go to other states and want to see a different culture, I think that's going to be very, very huge. Have you got a chance to take any college visits yet, or is that later on?
I'm working on setting some up. I'll probably start going more in like August when everyone's back on campus and stuff.
Okay, excellent. So tell me this. Obviously, we're going to talk about some future goals and all that stuff too. But what is something that most people don't know about you? What is something that describes Zara without talking about wrestling? What do you do in the little bit of free time you have?
What in the, oh, I don't know. Hold on, let me think about.
And that's the power of editing. Don't worry, it'll look like a second.
Most of the time, I'm just like I usually do stuff with my family. I don't really go out a lot, but I usually just stay with my family and stuff.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Now, I imagine, and I know you've kind of traveled all over the place for wrestling. What's one of your favorite spots you've been to? What's a nice state that you visit so far?
I think my favorite state that I've visited probably like I like the oh my gosh, I like Virginia when I went for nationals. It was pretty nice.
Okay, cool, cool, excellent, excellent. A little bit about you. Do you have a favorite food?
I like burritos. Usually that's what I
Uh,
crave after tournament.
Very cool, very cool. That's one thing that's interesting. Like as an athletic director, I get to see a lot of sports too, but it's always interesting to watch the wrestlers when it's time to cut weight, and then you can see like once they make weight, they're eating, they're kind of rehydrating. It's really interesting to see the discipline that you guys have to have both before and during and after a match. So that's really, really cool. So tell me this, Zara. When people look back at your time that you spent at Orange Vista, what do you hope that they remember about you?
I don't know. I hope they think I'm like nice because I try to include people and like make sure that they don't feel like I don't. I always try to make sure they feel like they're good too because when you're practicing, like if you're practicing with someone like good, like we have a good room. We have a lot of good girls that like have made it to state and stuff that they don't think that they're bad just because they lose, like not lose, but like get beat up on a practice. But it's improving them, and they should know that they're able to like wrestle hard girls like that. They shouldn't be able to get scared.
Yeah, no, and that's important. I think when we talk to athletes, whether it be at the high school level or college level, a lot of times, your job is to be the biggest, baddest, what, on the mat and everything too. But it's important that as athletes, sometimes we turn it off and we do want to be nice. We do want to be good teammates, and that's really special that you recognize how important that is. And talking to your teammates, they understand and they have nothing but good things to say about you. So that's really good to hear. So tell me this, Zara, and this is my last question for you. What kind of advice would you have for a girl just getting into it, whether it's first year of high school or maybe middle school? What kind of advice would you have for some young lady just picking up wrestling?
I'd just say like if they like it to stick with it, even if they don't think they're improving. Just keep practicing and eventually you'll start getting better. And it's really enjoyable if you just keep going.
That's interesting. It's funny. I've got a chance to interview so many college athletes and even a few professional athletes, and I don't think there's anybody that I talked to that didn't have some doubt at some time. It's kind of the ones that really reach that next level is the ones that even though they wanted to quit, or maybe they did quit, or maybe they took a break, they got back at it. Was there any a time where you thought it was overwhelming or too much, or were you always just focused on the next step?
When I first started, I didn't always like it. Like sometimes I would have like, oh, I really like wrestling, and then I'd also be like, oh, I don't want to go to practice. I'd always have those like
Mhm.
random months that would be different. But mostly now it's mostly like I always want to be there.
That's good, and that's good to hear. Like I said, I asked that intentionally too because, like I said, I've talked to professionals, I've talked to D1 players, I've talked to high school, I've talked to younger girls and guys, and every single one of them, goes through that. And it's important because there are other athletes that may feel discouraged, may feel like, "Hey, I enjoy this, but man, if I'm thinking about quitting right now, what chance do I have?" All the greats that I've talked to, it's a natural part of it. It's just being able to put that to the side, focus on the next step, and keep going. And that's something you've done masterfully just to get to where you're at so far. So, final question, Zara. You get to write your own story 5 years from now. You're finishing up your college career. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Are you going to stay in the sport or do you have other aspirations?
Um, I don't know exactly what I do for like a living or a job yet, but I know I for sure am gonna stay in sports. Like I don't know if I'm gonna be specifically like wrestling, but I'll probably like be like a coach or something, but something like that has sports because I know I don't want to live without sports and stuff.
So I love it. That's the same thing with me. I got lucky enough to I tried a couple different careers. I got back into teaching, but I was always able to stay around sports and right now I'm living the dream because I get to talk to great athletes like you, our football team, baseball team, just different tremendous athletes around campus. And that's one thing that I know about me, no matter what, I'm gonna be around sports. I love the values of it. I love the people I get to meet, and I can imagine doing another job. So I wish you the best, not only this year, your senior year coming up, but college and beyond. Zara, thank you so much. I can't wait to see you soon.
Bye.